Hi guys, I thought I'd do a video. I've had some interesting developments with a certain debt agent for me non-payment of council tax. So I normally deal out notices to these companies. On this instance, I just left it to run all the way through. Once the court had awarded itself some money and then given this fake liability order over to the council, and they failed to evidence this liability order because I utilised the DSAR um, to both parties, and they didn't respond back in 30 days with evidence because obviously it's got my data on it. Long-winded stuff, but yeah. Thus evidencing the lack of evidence of a liability order, because liability orders actually stopped being issued in 2003. So you can Google that because I think they were deemed unlawful. So this guy's pursued me via text message. I've just looked back through all the messages, to be fair, and he's not actually given his name. So it is a long response. So, and what I've decided to do is, some of you will now be watching this through my Facebook link. I have um, decided to do a video because, just because it really is at this point, and I have to like speak out because there's only so much I can do, um, and I have to basically put it out there so you can kind of get a gist of what's going on. Um, you know, because there's many people that are like me that are doing this, that are potentially thinking about whether they should help people or not, whether they can help people or not. But ultimately, it's down to you guys to help yourselves, because I was explaining this message for the reasons are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this out in its entirety, and yeah, see what you think. Um, yeah, so I responded to his text message. Feel free to copy and paste and use as a response to anyone that you think needs it, or send to anyone that you think is struggling with alleged debts. It's rather long. I've also put a recorded video on YouTube for a public notice announcement, which this is. This is a public notice announcement. This is a public forum, and I am now making a notice. All right, an announcement. So if he gets in touch again, I'll send in the link, and I'll make him infamous. Not that it has given his name on here, but if you happen to know a debt agent, feel free to share with this with them also, and or a copper for that matter, because the more the people that know about this, the merrier, and then they can choose to investigate or act willfully in ignorance, and then it's just a case of, you know, to get what they deserve, really. These entities really are doing what I claim, and as I'm a sovereign man, I can hold my own court, as no man is above me, as is no authority other than God's, if he exists. Only he can claim authority over me, because it is a maxim in law that he who creates owns. I issue the claim documents and file them at court and obtain judgment against the wrongdoer. Financial reward for me and loss for them. But we can't stop the corporations from employing these people. Sad truth. Marston's made over 20 million last year. Marston's a debt collection agent. They made over 20 million. You can go on Company's House and actually check that number. It's probably more than that now. But I did look at the books for last year, and it did say, I think it's 20.7 million. Now I don't know whether it was profit or not, but that's 20.7 million pounds of your money. It certainly isn't mine. And that's a big incentive basically to keep this machine running. That's a serious amount of money. Debt agents are making a lot of money, and the actual corporations are using those debt agents against us for alleged debts that don't exist. And it's your lack of knowledge, which means sin. Your sin. It's your sin to basically carry on this facade, because you don't know what's going on, or you do know and you turn your blind eye. So each person has to learn to stand and fight as such, because it doesn't look like any government is shutting these lot down, because the police aren't doing anything. That's because they're in on it. The police are in on it. because they're meant to remain impartial. So if they're to remain impartial, they wouldn't actually turn up with the debt agent sometimes and help them with an unlawful warrant to gain entry. Now, some of these coppers may or may not know that these are unlawful warrants that these agents are using, because a warrant has to be on a sealed document, because it's a court document as a warrant, and it has to have a judge's name on it, or justice of the peace's name, and a signature and a court seal to show that it's an authentic, lawful, legal warrant. And you have the right to see this warrant, because technically this document allows them to come into your house and take your stuff, right? And the coppers are acting upon these warrants as well, because some of these people believe that showing this document on an iPad is basically lawful and allowed to let these people in. So the coppers are, breaking the law. So you can hold them to account and you can put them off, as I've described in this. So yeah, basically, if they're a copper and they're not acting under common law, which is there has to be a crime, which is a victim on a hill, which is harm, injury and loss. So if there's a living victim that's being caused harm, injury or loss, then basically that's a crime, and they have to act under their oath and arrest the offender, right? Now, a debt collection agent who's turning up at your house is causing you psychological and potentially trying to cause you financial loss, which is harm, which is a crime, and they're aiding and abetting in these crimes by not arresting these people, because the agents have now got an excuse saying, "Oh, we don't know it's a fraudulent document. We believe that it's a fraudulent document. We believe that it's a real document, but it's not actually a real document because it's not a real warrant." So that's an excuse for them to get off with, knowing that they're committing fraud, because they are committing fraud. It's extortion, because they're using threats of violence as well and take your stuff off you. But the coppers, right? The coppers, basically, GMP, because I used to work for them, is a corporation. I used to be constable. They are a corporation. They're on Companies House as well, right? So the coppers are breaking their oaths of office by not arresting these fraudsters, right? Why are they not arresting them? Why are they not going away? Why are they stopping them? It's because there's a lot of money involved. It's extortion. And by not arresting these fraudsters, as the public, we rely on those who have taken the oath to uphold the law. Not legislation. Uphold the law. Breach of office and numerous other offences and crimes are being committed in this matter. Treason is actually one of them, I'm led to believe. This government is a terrorist organisation and is inflicting massive psychological harm on its citizens because it is run by some nasty people that you lot vote for. And they don't appear to be stopping applying any pressure. And guess what? It's just another corporation. HM government is another corporation. Right. So, right, a quick edit. Perfect planning and preparation prevents piss poor performance, I was told once or twice. I've just had to go on to Facebook and pull the actual photographs of the messages, the screenshots that I put on. Jacob's removal team will be attending your property between 6 AM and 9 PM. Please be aware that non-compliance could lead to serious consequences. Act immediately and call 0792010563, quoting reference number 391-397-53. Nothing to hide. I've responded. Harassment. Implied rights of access removed. No consent. No lawful contract or treaty with you. You have been treated as a trespasser. You assume liability for charges if you breach this. All interactions shall be recorded and you should be reported for the offences to the local police force. He's responded. Cocky get that he is, because he's responded numerous times. Some of you people on Facebook would be aware of what's happened. I've been putting my little screenshots of his messages on there and just basically like educating the man. But he's choosing not to be educated. Bless him. And he has free will. He's responded. Can't remove our rights of access for a government priority debt. You don't need a contract with us, as our contract is with the local authority. This is also not harassment, as we have a legal right to collect your priority debt. The local police force will also not get involved, as there is no breach of the peace taking place. Removal action will commence in the next few days. So he's saying that he has the right to commit crimes against me because he believes that he has the authority from the council. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue with my long spiel. This is my last response to this gent, and I believe if he has intellect, integrity, he will not respond. I already removed your implied rights of access in an earlier response to your alleged debt. You have no named, sealed, signed warrant from a magistrate because liability orders ceased to exist since 2003 because they were deemed unlawful. There's no form to replace it. I know this because I used a DSAR, Data Subject Access Request, to the court and the council, asking for evidence of said liability orders. There's more than one. And I put a smiley face, just to let him know that this is not my first rodeo, and that I have multiple liability orders in my name. And as both parties failed to respond, they agreed there was no liability orders and opened themselves up to a counterclaim, which I really should go after because it's over £2,500 for each data breach. Now, here's the thing. You're also in possession of my data, unlawfully and illegally because of the liability order being non-existent. So now you can be held liable and for harassing me and potentially theft, assault, fraud, uttering in brackets. I mentioned that before too, which I did because I've sent him numerous warnings. It's where a person believes that a document that he's acting under is real and he tries to action it. Yet, once he's informed of the above, which is basically it's fraud and uttering because it's a fraudulent warrant because he's not got a judge's name or seal on it, basically. Yet, once he's informed of the above, he or she then commits the crime. Crime. Right? It's crime. It's not an offence, it's a crime. That's where a living victim, me, and I get to use force to defend myself and property from that crime, from you, the trespasser. So, what you're actually doing is accepting liability for the psychological damage, harm, that you are causing me through threats of extortion, another crime, with the unlawful harm of burglary. That's basically where you enter as a trespasser with the intention of removing property that doesn't belong to you. It's called stealing, right? And they break into your house. And you locksmiths out there, feel free to share this with the locksmiths too. You're also aiding and abetting in this. So stop it. The end. Because you'll enter as a trespasser and steal my private property or steal my property on my driveway. Because don't forget to threaten to take your vehicles. Theft, which is another crime. There's also castle doctrine. Now I believe this. I've not actually studied this properly. Which, although is very extreme, it's basically an act of war if you unlawfully trespass against me in my castle. And it's English law. Your castle is my home. I'm making that declaration now. My castle is my home. Alright? And for that, I can use all force necessary, as it is an act of war. That's law. That superseded your bullshit the moment you contacted me without an existing contract. Right? Because time is money. Right? And this guy has cost me some time. Right? In responding back to him. In contract law, I have the right to issue a fee schedule to the individual that is wishing to purchase my services. Right? And if you wish to purchase my services, we will need a contract. Yeah? Man to man. If you persist in hassling me, then it's agreed that you accept the terms of the arrangement and I'll require your full name and address along with your public indemnity insurance policy number and bailiff licence, or if acting as an agent, which I believe you are doing, then I'll require your number for your card evidencing that you can act on behalf of the alleged authority you claim. Because remember, he's claiming that he's acted on behalf of the council. All right. Now, I don't have a contract yet with you, and I certainly don't have a contract with the council. They will also confirm this because I've asked for one via a DSAR, via recorded delivery, and I've kept all my copies on records for instances such as this one. The authority that you claim granted you the power to threaten me is a corporation registered on Dun and Bradstreet, which it is. Bolton Metropolitan Borough Council, Bolton Council, yada yada yada. There's quite a few names on there. There's quite a tree, a little network of the rats. So basically, because it's a corporation, it requires a contract with myself, right? With my person, with my legal fiction. There isn't a contract. Therefore, out of the 4 players at the table, I'm trying to create an analogy here where you can visualize it, right? I'm sat around a poker table where you've got myself, Jacobs, and the council, who I cannot claim against because of corruption in the courts in England. That leaves you. And you are liable for the trespass you are committing against me because I've not agreed in a contract to be treated as such. If you treat me as such, then you, and only you, break the law. Contract law. That as well. And because it's contract law and you're agreeing to attempt to contract with myself, then I can offer you terms. So this is why I need your information. Failure to provide your details means you don't wish to contract as you're acting in fraud by not giving me your information. Do you realise that you're inflicting massive harm on people in this country to the point where people commit suicide due to the pressure from unenforceable debts and bogus claims from extortionists such as yourself? This is basically on you. And now me. Because I know about it, and either I turn a blind eye or I do something about it. And this is me doing something about it at a very low level. And I'm hoping that it carries on and it picks up. And other people do it too. Now, I can't teach everyone in the country who's in the same situation as me, or potentially anybody who's going to be getting into an alleged debt, okay, or a council non-payment of council tax. Don't forget that's what this is for. But it does stand for all other debts as well, on these unlawful claims. And the police certainly won't do anything because they support the corporation that is GMP, Greater Manchester Police, some company's house, or wherever they are. GMP is yet another corporate entity that I don't have a contract with. So because I'm not committing a crime, they can't touch me. Yeah? Get that? Copper? Can't touch me. And if they assist you in a fake, unlawful warrant, which I know for a fact, because you can't act upon it, and they can't assist with it. But guess what? That's right. The copper is now liable for quite a few offences and crimes if he does assist. Are you listening? That's why the cops run away and often do from the Criminal Justice and Courts Act 2015, Section 26. Might want to look at that one. That's the least of his worries. So, what's it going to be? Contract or no? If I can't be reasonable with you, I'll take your money off you. And or get you fired. And or get you struck off whatever corrupt board operates over you. Because they won't be taken to court either. Which means it lands on you again. Now act like the asshole with lips that you are. And give me a yes or no. Or pucker up like the asshole, wrongdoer, and fuck off. God is my witness. Don't forget that's if he exists. And law is righteous. I can't judge you in this life. But God has the final say, and he's always watching. Peace.